Liz Truss has been named the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, of course, taking over for Boris Johnson after he resigned amidst multiple scandals. So I'm not real familiar with Liz Truss, as you might assume, but she does seem to be in a similar political ideology camp as Boris Johnson, someone who was an ally of him. So it's not going to be a huge political swing, but this is a pretty tumultuous time in the UK because there's multiple economic things that need to be dealt with and this whole prime minister scandal. And so now she's going to be taking over in the middle of that. So Liz Truss has been named, reading from Business Insider, the new conservative leader after a fierce leadership battle following Boris Johnson's resignation on July 7th. The victory also makes her the new prime minister, due to take over on Tuesday. And so, as I mentioned, she is an ally of Boris Johnson. And just to kind of read a little bit about her, before being named conservative leader, she was foreign secretary. Truss has also been trade secretary, chief secretary to the treasury, woman and equalities minister, and environment secretary. She was the first woman to be Lord Chancellor and justice secretary. And so then I'll give you a little moment from CNN where they're discussing her, what she's taking over in the middle of, and what she promises to do.
Yeah, Liz Truss has given us a taste of what to expect. She's not, of course, Prime Minister until tomorrow. She'll fly up to Scotland separately to Boris Johnson, who'll fly to Scotland as well. They'll both go meet the Queen. The Queen will accept Boris Johnson's resignation, and she will invite Liz Truss to become the next Prime Minister, which, of course, is what's going to happen. Liz Truss said that she will govern the country the way that she campaigned, on conservative values. She said that she will lower tax, she will grow business that way, that there will be personal responsibility for the people of this country. She faces daunting challenges, not least the rising energy costs, and she said there will be an early statement from her once she's Prime Minister about how she's going to tackle that. She's widely expected to lower taxes, to borrow money, to cap the cost of rising energy prices, to try to keep control of inflation in the country. And she thinks that way she'll be able to grow businesses in the country. But her party is fractured. The campaign to become leader has done that. She needs to rebuild the party. The health service, the schools in this system all need a lot of attention.
So as you can see, lots going on there. And it's a reminder that not all of that was pandemic related, but a lot of the economic aftermath of the pandemic is being felt around the world. And so leaders globally are trying to figure out how to navigate that. And for her, I obviously don't think, if it's the way that American politicians promise to cut taxes, which is most often cutting them for the wealthiest among us, then I don't think that's a great way to grow business, to help your country economically, as we've seen time and time again with that kind of trickle-down economics mindset. It doesn't work. But if it's for the middle class or something like that, maybe that could be good. Who knows? And then here's her accepting this position, as well as giving Boris Johnson some credit and saying he is, I forget the wording, but beloved, supported, etc.
Boris, you got Brexit done. You crushed Jeremy Corbyn. You rolled out the vaccine and you stood up to Vladimir Putin. You were admired from Kiev to Carlisle. Friends and colleagues, thank you for putting your faith in me to lead our great Conservative Party, the greatest political party on earth. Boris, you got...
Okay. So good feelings towards Boris Johnson. Again, that's what I was kind of indicating, that he had to move on. He lost support for the scandals as an individual, or because of the scandals as an individual, but his ideology is still quite in power and powerful and all those things, and supported, it seems, generally by the UK. But as we've talked about here, not super politically aligned with the Conservative Party there at all, and likely Liz Truss will do things that I don't support. and her stance on Brexit is not something I agree with. But you also have to keep in mind a lot of other countries, their Conservative Party is to the left of ours. Most of the country is like that, at least in the kind of Western developed world, where you hear Conservative Party and you assume it's like ours. Very different, even though, yes, it sounds like a lot of the rhetoric is similar that she's pushing for. And again, big moments where there's a huge divide in the country. Brexit is a great example of that. I'm not happy with their stances, but you could see they're accepting vaccines. They're much more accepting, and they have a consensus, as everyone should, over climate change and all of those things. So interesting moment in the UK. We'll see how it develops.